Hi everyone. Time for our September SITREP. As you probably know, Tony Ballinger has been sick for quite a while. He was quite seriously ill for suffering from sort of congestive heart failure. Ended up in hospital for a long time. But thankfully he's now back home, feeling a lot better, and so thank you all for your prayers, and really appreciate the support. I really want to thank Tony for everything that he's done to help this channel. He's been involved for over 2 years now, during which time he's made something like over 100, done over 100 interviews, which have resulted in videos. That takes a lot of work, trust me, not so much from my side, but from having to chase people up. So if Tony gets 100 interviews down on the record, it means he's been in comms with over 300 people. So that's very time consuming and energy sapping. And Tony, I really want to thank you, my brother, from the bottom of my heart. You've not only become a friend, you've supported me with your prayers, and you've supported the channel in many ways. Tony has passed on to me some of his leads, and I didn't realize how much work was involved, because initially when we started the channel, Hannes did most of the interviews, and I really spent most of my time editing. Look, I have done a few interviews myself, but my job has really been doing the editing, and I didn't quite realize how much hard work it is to contact people, convince them to talk, and then get photographs and look at their synopsis and figure everything out. So since Tony hasn't been available to help and Hannes has been busy, most of the workload has fallen on me. I want to just say I also felt mysteriously ill last week. I was man down for about 5 days, so we are running a little bit behind in our editing schedule. I had some mysterious thing happen. It started off with tennis elbow. I live in quite an isolated. I live up in the mountains, so it's a windy road through this lush jungle, uphill to get to my place from the town of Valencia, which is a smallish town on the outskirts of Dumaguete city, and it's incredibly beautiful. It's the most beautiful town in the Dumaguete area, and to get to my apartment, I have to go down. You turn down a little dirt road, and with all the rain we've been having, much of the soil has been washed away in that dirt road, and it's just rocks, and it requires an incredible amount of strength, because I don't have a scrambler, so I'm just riding a little street scooter, with little scooter tires, and it requires a tremendous amount of manhandling to keep the bike upright, not hit a rock and fall over. I have actually fallen over a couple of times and resulted in some injury. The one time the bike actually fell on top of me and sort of pinned my thigh between the bike and a rock, and I got an edema in my leg, which made the whole muscle swell up and be hot and hard as a rock, and it took several weeks for me to be able to walk without pain. And took a while to settle down. This time something similar happened. I have no idea what caused it, but I woke up with a pain in my lateral deltoid muscle, and found that I couldn't lift my arm. I still can't lift my arm higher than that. This one I can lift all the way up, but my right arm only goes that high. But at the time, I couldn't even move it 1 inch away from my body. It also went hot and hard, and the pain went down into my tricep, into my bicep, into the elbow, into the forearm, and I thought I had cellulitis, so I started taking antibiotics, which wasn't necessary, because later a doctor confirmed that it wasn't cellulitis. But nevertheless, I began to get better after about 5 days, and slowly the movement began to return. But during those 5 days, I literally could not. I realized what life is like with only one arm, because I couldn't get dressed, I couldn't put my shoes on, and I couldn't lift my arm to reach the handlebars of the scooter. So I had to pay an employee here to borrow my scooter and go to the village and buy me food to eat, because I'm stuck here in the jungle, so without transport, it's too far for me to walk. And I know there are some guys who walk it, but they're kind of like marathon walkers. Anyway, kind of long story short, it was a while where I couldn't lift my arm high enough to reach the mouse on my laptop and work the keys to do editing. So about 5 days went by without me doing any editing, which is unusual, because I normally edit about 6 days a week. So I haven't been contacting anybody, and I haven't been doing any editing. So you might find a little length of time to get back on track in terms of the number of videos that we're pumping out. I have been pumping out a new video every 4 or 5 days, and sometimes more than that. Yeah, so I've been quite busy. The process of what happens is we contact somebody, we set up a mutually acceptable time. They have to have Zoom installed on their smartphone or on their laptop or whatever, and we do the interview. And then once the interview's been done, I get photographs from them to illustrate the storyline. And then I start the editing process, which can sometimes take very long if the person is long-winded. So some people, when they talk, to gather their thoughts, they say, and there's a big lapse of time before they do the next part of the sentence. So you have to cut out that silence and the and sometimes you do 4 of those cuts per sentence. And so it often takes me about 10 minutes to do 1 minute of video. When the video is finished, I check everything's all in sync, and I render the video, which is basically creating taking that whole edit and turning it into a single entity. And then I upload it to YouTube. And then I wait for YouTube to look at the video and basically vet it to see if it's suitable for advertisers or not, and to see if there's any copyright infringements. So one has to be very careful with that. If you have 3 copyright strikes in a row, your channel gets taken down permanently, and there's no recourse to getting it back up again. YouTube now have billions of people uploading videos, and they don't have time to answer emails and things like that anymore. You used to get a lot more communication from them a few years ago. Sometimes the audio is not good, and there is a certain amount that I can do. I can enhance the equalizer for voice enhancement. I can up the volume up to about 300%, but then it starts to distort. So if the person you're interviewing has low quality equipment or outdated equipment, then usually the audio suffers, and the visual's not great either. So I suggest, if that is the case, then you rather use your smartphone, because most smartphones have a good camera and they have a good microphone, and so you'll probably get a lot better audio from your smartphone than you will from your old desktop. So if you recall, our recent most popular video was Willem Rata, and Willem was one of those guys who had old-fashioned audio. What I suggest you do in that case is either get a decent set of speakers for your computer, and by that I mean something like a JBL Bluetooth speaker, which has really good sound quality, and connect that and listen through that, or get a decent set of earphones and listen through the earphones, because I will not publish a video where the audio is completely unintelligible. Then the third thing you can do, which is probably the easiest, is simply to get a transcript. The transcript works a bit like subtitles. You have to look at the video description, which is just below the video on YouTube, and click on the subscription, and then you'll see some writing and inviting you to join Patreon and PayPal, and go right the way down to the bottom, and you'll see a hyperlink for the transcript. If you click on that, then up will pop the transcript right next to the screen, and it'll type out what the guy is saying in real time. So sometimes it gets a little bit confused, especially with Rhodesian slang. but generally speaking, you'll be able to. It's quite good actually. It's quite efficient. It's really like good subtitles, and in that way, if you really can't hear what the guy is saying, at least you can read what he's saying as you watch the video. So that's it really for today. I really just wanted to thank Tony Ballinger and tell him how much we appreciate him, and hopefully we'll be seeing more of him soon again. I know, Tony, you can't keep a good man down, and I know he really loves this channel, and his heart's in it, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very, very much, Tony. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Coming up soon, to let you know, there is a great talk by Brendan Seary on the Gukurahundi. Brendan was actually the first guy to break the story of the Gukurahundi and the 5th Brigade and their goings on in Matabeleland. That's a good one. And then a little bit later in this month, we've got a real treat from Nigel Henson, who's rewritten his book From Soup to Nuts, and added a whole lot more action and detail, and so I'm looking forward to publishing that video as well. Thanks very much, everybody. Oh, one last word of thanks. I want to thank Michael Carnarvon. Michael, I hope you're listening to this. Michael lives in somewhere in the state of California, but out of the blue, he sent me $1,000 US dollars to buy myself a beer and a steak, and demanded that I spend all the money, wasted all on myself. So that was such a pleasant surprise, came out of nowhere. And I really want to say to Michael, thank you so much, my brother. That actually made a huge difference in my life. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, guys, bye.